It makes me alright. It makes me it won't let me be ashamed. Hey, come on. Good morning, good morning, IKC. Good morning, friends and family. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. So excited that you're here this morning. So excited. I hope that you've had an awesome week. You should know that there is something deep down inside of you because God put it there. I'm excited to be in the house of the Lord just one more time. I'm so excited that you have logged on and decided to tune in and join in today. It has been a different week for me. I had several funerals, a couple funerals this week. Four actually that I attended. And of course, I think I've attended maybe 8 funerals within the last 2 months, 8 or 9 within the last 2 to 3 months. And none of them were due to COVID. Just people are passing and transitioning from this side to the next side. And definitely want to keep these families, keep Priscilla Castillo family lifted up in prayer with the loss of her mother. Want to keep our very own as well, Mother Staggs, Betty J. Mathis Staggs lifted up in prayer with the loss of her brother. The Moorhead family, a great mentor of mine, Finn Moorhead, who was the former pastor of, and one time he was the pastor of Sugar Creek Baptist Church. He passed away. And it's been a couple other funerals as well that I've attended, but I got some news on Friday that it messed me up. I did not have a good Friday, not at all. Bishop Amos York passed away, and Bishop Amos York was another spiritual father to me, a great friend to me, a great mentor and leader for me, and I depended on him a lot. Enjoyed working with him, enjoyed the vision that he had. Old man York was up in age, but he was making moves like he was in his 40s, starting businesses and ministry ideas and It shook me. It rocked me. It took me some hours to get it together. I don't remember the last time I cried for an entire day. Literally cried for an entire day, but I did on Friday because I miss him and I still need him. However, I'm better today. Thank God. I'm better today. But it's hard losing somebody that you still need and you still depend on and that still depend on you and still have a great relationship with. It's not an easy task, even though I know that even in him being the general, in my opinion, in the kingdom, one of the wisest men that I've ever personally met, I know that his suffering is over, his pain is over. No more bouts with cancer, no more bouts with any type of sickness and or ailments. I know it. I know that God made the right and the best decision. It doesn't mean that decision is easy for me to live with and swallow immediately. I'm human, and I have human emotions and human feelings, and the world lost a light in the passing of Bishop Amos York. Not a perfect man, but one of the greatest men that I've ever encountered. He never judged me, accepted me for who I am, saw more value in me than I saw at the time, and poured into me all that he possibly could. And I received it. I'm not going to even call it old school, because he was contemporary in his thinking, but still fundamental with his foundation principles, which is be a man, serve the Lord, lead your family, stay on the straight and narrow, and you'll end up seeing God at the end. That's just how it was. And I'm praying for Pastor Michael York and Mother York and the rest of the family as well. And I want you guys to keep them lifted up in prayer. My heart is still broken behind his passing. I'm not going to even lie to you. But I will recover. God will put those pieces back together for me. I trusted that he will, and I know that he will, because I need him to. So keep me lifted up in prayer as well. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for allowing us to come into your house. Thank you for those that are tuned in, God, for allowing them to be where they are but still experience your presence. God, speak to our hearts today, speak to our minds today, speak to our lives, speak to our world today. Change us from the inside out, shift us. God, we need you. In Jesus' name, amen. Speak to my heart, Lord. Holy Spirit, to encourage me. All accounts of pass away. Speak to my heart, what to do. I don't wanna go on my own. Just let your spirit guide. Take it up. I think I know then I know what to do. I don't know what to do. Come on, speak to God. Speak to God. Ask God this morning. Speak to God. Speak to God. Come on, you ought to ask Him. Trust Him with it. Speak to God. Ask the Lord. Just speak to Him. Speak to God. Speak to God. Because if you trust Him with it, you'll ask Him to speak to you. We do not ask God to talk and speak to the part of us that we do not trust Him with. But if you trust Him with your heart, it should be no problem asking Him to speak to you. If you trust Him with your mind, it should be no problems asking Him to speak to you. If you trust Him with your life, there should be no problems asking God to speak to you. Speak to God. Speak to God. Just speak. You spoke to Paul. You spoke to Saul and changed his name to Paul. You spoke to Abram and changed his name to Abraham. You spoke to Moses and he became a great leader. God, you spoke to Simon Bar-Jonah and changed his name to Peter. You spoke to Nehemiah who thought he was too immature. Jeremiah who thought he was too immature. God, and he accomplished your goal. You spoke to Nehemiah and Nehemiah helped rebuild the walls. So God, if you did it for Abraham, if you did it for Moses, if you did it for Saul, if you did it for Simon Bar-Jonah, if you did it for Jeremiah, but then you can do it for me too. God, if you did it for Ezekiel, you spoke to him in the valley of the dry bones. God, if you did it for them, well, then you can do it for us as well. God, if you spoke to Peter and he walked on water, God, if you spoke to John, if you spoke to Paul, if you spoke to Barnabas, if you spoke to John the Baptist and he became a forerunner in the wilderness for you, God, if you spoke to them, but then you can speak to us as well. You spoke to Mordecai and he gave instructions to Queen Esther. God, if you spoke it, you can speak again. If you open up your mouth once before, God, you can open up your mouth one more time and speak to my heart, speak to my life, speak to my mind, speak to my past, speak to my future, speak to my present, speak to my circumstance. Just speak to me, speak to my spirit. Show up like you did in a burning bush. Show up like you did on the backside of a mountain. God, show up in a cloud of smoke if you have to. Go show God, show up in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Don't care how you show up. Just need you to speak. Just need you to talk. Just need you to say something, because I can't walk alone. I don't want to go by myself. Don't want to go on my own. Need your spirit to guide me. Need your word to provide. Need your word to be a light. Need your word to be a lamp. My heart is too broken. You got to speak to it. My mind is too discombobulated. You have to say something. My life is in shambles and disarray. You have to say something. I'm too weak right now. God, speak. I'm too hurt right now. God, speak. I'm too broken right now. God, speak. You have to say something. The one that I didn't want to die has died. The one that I expected to live forever is going on. What I expected to have, I lost. The strength that I need, I don't have it. The security, I'm no longer under it. God, you gotta say something in this hour, in this moment, in this second. You have to say something. So just speak to my heart, Lord. Give me your holy words. Give it to me. I have too much on the line. Too much riding on this one. You have to speak in this one. You got to speak to me this time. There's been times, God, when I needed your touch and you touched. There's been times, God, when I needed your embrace and you actually embraced. There's been times, God, when I needed your provision and you provided. But God, this time in my life, I need you to speak. Because when you speak, you change everything. You said, let there be, and it was. You said, let there be, and it showed up. You said, let there be, and lines were drawn. You said, let there be, and the water knew where to stop. You said, let there be, and the sun knew to go down, and the moon knew to come up. God, when you speak, stuff changes. And it don't just change, it changes forever. Okay? It doesn't just change, it changes forever. This time, I need you to speak and change it forever. I need you to speak and change me forever. I need you to speak and change me and turn me from the inside out. You don't have to fix nothing bad that I'm experiencing. Just speak to me. You don't have to speak to my mess, my trash, my discomfort, or my pain. Just speak to me. You don't have to speak to my marriage. Just speak to me. You don't have to speak to my job. Just speak to me. You don't have to speak to my family. Just speak to me. You don't have to speak to my next move. Just speak to me. And if you speak to me, I'll speak to my next move. If you speak to me, I'll speak to my marriage. If you speak to me, I'll speak to my family. If you speak to me, I'll speak to my body. I'll speak to the brain of disease. I'll speak to, if I catch it, I'll speak to myself if you speak to me. I just need you to talk to me. Hey, speak to my heart, Lord. 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 Speak to my heart, so your spirit can provide. God, speak to my heart, to the end of your word, and then provide. God, speak to my heart, so your spirit can abide. God, speak to my heart, to the end of your word, and can provide. God, speak to my heart. God, speak to my heart. Speak to my heart. I need you to, God, speak to my heart. God, they need you to speak to their heart. Speak to it. God, talk to it. Speak to it. God, talk to it. God, speak to it. God, talk to it. God, speak to it. Father, speak to it. God, talk to it. God, talk to it. God, speak to it. God, speak to it. It's been a long time coming. Speak to it. Sometimes, God, your word helps us to just take a deep breath when we can hear your voice. We can breathe again. We can release again. We can let go again. We can open up again just when you speak. When you spoke, the heavens opened and the spirit ascended like a dove. God, it's something that opens up when you speak. Speak to our heart because we need you. Thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. It's still an honor and a privilege to be here. Yet we remain in the land of the living. And I'm still excited. When is the last time you've asked God to speak to your heart? We are all in the middle of a pandemic, which means we all have asked God for something. Whether it's protection, whether it's provision, whether it's more time on the job, whether it's let them continue to give us our checks, God, whether we've asked God for something, but in the middle of all of this, have any of us actually asked God, I need you to speak to my heart? It's essentially what David was asking God when he said, create in me a clean heart and renew the right spirit within me. Essentially, what he was asking God to do is not physically remove the old beating heart, because that would have killed it. Don't need you to remove my beating heart. Can't afford for it to leave my body. But what I need you to do, if you speak to the heart of my mind, speak to the heart of my emotions, it'll change the way my physical beating heart beats if you speak. So what David was essentially asking God is by creating, he understood and he knew how God creates. God didn't listen. The sun, the moon, the earth, the firmament, the trees, the shrubs, the plants, the animals, they all came into existence by him speaking. Okay? They all came into existence by him speaking. So when David says, create in me a clean heart, what he was saying is, I need you to talk something new. Because that's how you create. You can put your hands to dust and form a man if you choose to. But when it comes to the heart, God did not touch Adam and Adam became a living soul. The Bible says that he breathed into him and he became a living soul. So when David asked, create in me a clean heart and renew the right spirit within me, he was asking for two things. He was asking for a word and breath. All right, this doesn't make sense to you because you never heard it like that before, and you think I'm off from not biblical. When David asked, created me a clean heart, he was asking for a word for God to speak, because that's how God creates through speaking. When he said renew the right spirit, he was asking for breath. I need you, as you blow the right in me, to also, as you breathe the right into me, push the wrong out. As you breathe the right thing into my spirit, push the wrong. I give you. But listen, when David asked for this, simultaneously he was giving God permission to do it. God will not do what you don't give him permission to do. Amen. God will not do what you do not give him permission to do. So when David asked for it, at the same time while asking, he was also releasing, turning over permission for God to actually do it. Speak into my heart. Because that's how you create. And how you renew is with your breath. So as you breathe in, you also push out. And David gave God permission to do it. That's not the sermon this morning. That's just a nugget. That's a sermon for you preachers that are watching. Pray about that. Let the Holy Spirit reveal to you about that and preach that. Amen. You didn't steal it. It wasn't mine to begin with. It's in the Bible. The Bible belongs to all of us. It's God's word. God's word belongs to all of us. So let's get into it. Let's get into an entanglement. Let's get into an entanglement this morning. We are not going to get into an entanglement with anybody. We're not going to get into an entanglement with the word. We're going to get into an entanglement with ourselves. Simply because some of us have already been in an entanglement with ourselves and we did not know it, which is why we blamed other people. Now let me explain to you what I mean by that. There are some things that we believe that we could have become had someone in our life not did something or had done something different. And it doesn't matter if you are a believer or unbeliever, we all have the ability to push the blame. I would have been a better husband had you been a better wife. I would have been a better wife had you been a better husband. I would have been more loving had you loved me more. I would have been more caring had you cared for me more. I would be further along in ministry had you pushed me. Nobody has to push you into something that they did not call you into. I do not put a call to preach on anybody's life. Therefore, I am not responsible to pushing you. Amen. I'm not. I can push you, but I'm not responsible because it ain't my call. I didn't call you. So therefore, if I've ever blamed a person, Reverend Moss, this is going to make some people mad. If I ever blamed a person for not walking in my calling, I was in error because they did not call me. God did. And when God called me, I told Bryant Brown, whom I've been knowing almost his entire life, and he has a lawn care service, and he did some pavers in the back thing in my backyard. And I told him this. I said, it's a lot of preachers and pastors who say that God called them, and God does call. But they need to be prepared to answer when he calls. Now, if God called you to preach, preaching isn't the answer. Preaching is not you answering the call. Most people believe, okay, I'm messing up some stuff right now. Leanne, preachers believe that the Lord called me to preach, and I answered the call, so I'm going to start preaching. Preaching is not answering the call. Okay? Answering the call is doing what the call suggested or asked you to do. The call is more to it than just preaching. Serena, if I call you and ask you for $200 and you say, okay, I didn't just ask you for $200. I asked you to get out your bed. I asked you to brush your teeth. I asked you to take a shower. I asked you to get in your car. I asked you to drive to the bank or to an ATM. I asked your card in. I asked you to put your PIN number in. I asked you to accept the fees if you didn't go from your bank. And I asked you to bring that money. I asked you to have it from me. I asked you to meet me somewhere so that I could get it. I did more than just ask you for $200. So in saying yes, you're saying yes to getting out of your pajamas and jumping in the shower and putting on some clothes. You're saying yes to spending your gas or using your gas. You're saying yes to go to an ATM. You're saying yes to put your card in and your PIN number in. You're saying yes. All of that by answering one call. So when preachers answer the call, they believe that they're answering the call by preaching. Preaching is not you answering the call. It's knowing that there's a process to becoming the call. That's answering the call. That's answering the call. There ain't no call to preach on my life. You don't need a call to preach on your life to preach. Okay? You don't need a call. You don't need a call on your life to preach. And when God calls you to preach, God is not calling you to just preach. God is calling you to a life of ministry, a life of servitude, a life of humility, a life of you grown enough to do what you want to do, but you call enough to know you can't do what you want to do. That ain't pastoring, that's just okay. When God called, all right. Preaching is something that we're all supposed to do because we're believers. We're all supposed to spread the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're all supposed to. Anytime you share and become a witness and witness to someone, talk about the Bible, you are then preaching. And wherever you are doing that from, that then becomes your pulpit. So your pulpit may be on the corner with a Newport in your hand and a Newport in the hand of every member of your church in that moment. That's fine. Who cares? Preach. Preach. I know it's going to mess somebody. I'm going to lose some viewers on that one right there. Preach. Don't preach because you've been called to preach. Preach because you are a believer. This is still not my message. This is not the message for the day. Don't seem like I'm going to get to the message for the day. I'm going to get to some of it. I talked to us on Wednesday about knowing your value. Knowing your value, knowing your worth. And we are in a moment and in a season to where we have to hone in on the most important relationship that we possibly can on the earth, which is a relationship with yourself. That's what we have to hone in on, a relationship with yourself, okay? A relationship with yourself. And I talked a little bit about knowing your value and how you do not let other people devalue you, okay? I want to add to Wednesday, and then we'll continue in it as far as we can go today. Your value is, okay. You'll never know your full value unless you know the gift that you are. How about that? That works? You'll never know your full value, Paul, unless you know your gift. Okay? All right. Your gift is what makes you valuable. Which is why your gift has nothing to do with money. Your future, your purpose, your destiny, it's all inside of your gift. So if you're looking for purpose and destiny outside of you, it's not outside of you, it's in you. Your future, watch this. This is, my goodness, Chad, I don't know if they don't like this one. Your future is not ahead of you. Your future is not ahead of you. Your future is actually in you. Okay, I need to explain that? Okay, all right. Serena, I need to explain it. Your future is not ahead of you. Your future is actually in you. God did not give Adam chairs. He did not give him tables. He did not give him bowls. He did not give him spoons. He hid everything in a tree. Tables were made of wood. Wood come from a tree. Okay. All right. The table was always in the tree. The chair was always in the tree. It was hidden inside of the tree, and the tree did not go to a class or a seminar or a convention to find out what's all that's in it. Okay. I'll say that better. I'll say it like this. Fish do not go to swim school. They don't have to take swimming lessons. They swim because that's what's in them. All right. They don't have to be taught to swim. Birds do not go to flight school. They fly because that's what's in them. Flight. God hid flight inside of birds. God hid swimming inside of fish. God hid a mighty roar inside of a lion. Nobody has to teach a lion how to roar. Nobody has to teach a horse how to run. It's already in them. There is something. Now, when a horse is born, nobody knows that it is going to be a champion thoroughbred and it will win the Triple Crown. Nobody knows that. The ability to run with all of its might is already in them. You can't teach a horse that. You only can teach a horse how to continue to run fast with a rider on its back. But it was able to run fast without a rider. Okay. We together? You don't teach a horse how to run fast. You help people to become faster in running. But horses already have that. A cheetah can run 55 miles an hour. An alligator can run 35 miles an hour. You can't teach an alligator to run 35, 40 miles an hour because you can't teach an alligator nothing. It's already in them to do it. All right. There is something that's already in you to do and to be that you can't be taught. It's already in you. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Let's deal with Bill Gates. Bill Gates built the first computer in his garage. He didn't have a grant. He didn't go to the bank and take out a loan with an office building. He did it in his garage. The concept of Facebook, Tom did it from home. The concept of the iPhone was done at home. These people they wasn't waiting on great opportunity because they understood what was in them. I don't need to be a part of a multi-million-dollar corporation yet to release what's in me. Bill Gates released it in his garage. And he's been a billionaire ever since because of what he released out of himself in the garage. He wasn't sitting around saying, well, I'm waiting on my ship to come in. I'm waiting on an opportunity. I'm waiting for this grant. I'm waiting to see if the bank approve this loan. I'm waiting to see if they hire me. Nobody has to hire me. I'll find the parts that I need to build what's in me to build. And he did it, and he was successful at it. Success has nothing to do with money. A success is not based on what you can obtain and attain. Real success is when you know your value. You can go and work for a Fortune 500 company and be making $350,000 a year as the third in command. Your friends and your family and people around you, because you have the house that you wanted and it's paid off. You have the cars that you want, it's paid off. You have pieces of property all over the place. You have rent houses. You are doing well. You go on vacation. You're providing for your family. People will view you as successful until they fire you. They view you as successful as long as you still work there and you make $350 or $475 or $500,000 a year. But get fired and see what happens. You'll be on ET News. Where are they now? You'll be on Unsung, trying to figure out what happened. Success isn't based on what I can attain. Success isn't based on what I can buy. Success is not based on money. Success is based on value. Me knowing my value. When I know my value, you can't fire me because you cannot fire value. Okay. All right. You cannot fire value. You can't. It's recession proof. Knowing your value. And it doesn't matter if no one else knows it. You cannot fire value. So we're in a season to where knowing your value, engaging in a relationship, a good, a healthy relationship with yourself and coming to know your value is the same thing as me saying it's time for us to come to know our gift. Now, for men, for most men, we gauge our gift on our job. Okay. That's why when we lose a job, when we lose a job, it messes up our mind. Man, I got fired again. Man, I got let go again. Or man, another business closed. It messes with us. Most men put all of our security in our job. Got to pay these bills. Got to pay this. If you knew you was gonna let me go and this business was gonna close, you should have told me ahead of time. I wouldn't have went and bought this new car. I would have stuck with my old cash car. But now I got a car note. And you talking about laying off. This is the wrong time. Lay some other folks off. I've been there way too long. We connect our security with our job. We connect our value with our job. We connect our strength with our jobs. We're men. Now, granted, I'm not talking about boys. I'm not talking about a 35-year-old boy or a 40-year-old boy. I'm talking about a 35-year-old man, a 40-year-old man. Because your age don't matter. Is a difference between boys and men. The mentality of a boy, if he's 60, is different than the mentality of a man that's 60. So I'm not talking about boys right now. I'm talking about men. Because boys are willing to lay up on some woman and let her provide and let her take care and let her pay the rent while he drive around in her car all day, drop her off and pick her up from her. That's boy stuff. That ain't man stuff. And if there are any boys watching and you are over the age of 21 and that's what you do, that's boy stuff. That ain't man stuff. And if you decide to unjoin IKC and quit following me and don't tune in, tune out. I don't care. Leave the church. I don't care. That's not man stuff. That's boy stuff. That's not man stuff. That's boy stuff. You don't live off a woman. You don't live off your mama. You stand up on your own 2 feet. You go get your job. You work. You don't go get you a woman. Listen, anytime you go get you a woman before you go get you a job, you are going against God's natural order. And I have every right and authority to speak to you and tell you that you are going against God's natural authority and don't care how you feel about it. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, God brings work to man. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, God brings woman to man. He does not bring man and woman before he brings in work. Amen and amen again. God does not bring man and woman before he brings him work. So if you feel like I just need to give me a good woman so she can take care of me, you are a boy and you are going against the natural order of God. So if a black man like myself call you a boy, don't be offended. Or if a white man call you a boy, don't be offended, because neither of us are lying. You are a boy. Just because you're a male does not make you a man. All right, now I'm done with that rant. How much time do I have? Okay. For most men, we connect our success, we connect our value, we connect our worth to our job that we work on. But God says this: your success, your value, and your worth is not connected to your job. It's all inside your gift. What makes you valuable is not your paycheck. What makes you valuable is your uniqueness. What makes you valuable is your gift. They can fire you from your job, but they cannot fire you from your work. Okay. Let me just do this. I'm gonna explain some scriptures that we've all have heard. Either you heard them or you haven't. But either way, I'm gonna explain them. I must work the work of him that sent me. You've heard that one? Okay. I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. For when the night cometh, no man can work. Okay. In the book of Genesis chapter 2, God brings work. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, God brings work to man before he brings woman to man. It's 9 verses later that God brings woman. Okay? All right. It's 9 verses later that God brings woman, but before he brings woman, he brings man. Here's what God says. It is not good for man to be alone. I will create for him a suitable helpmeet. The very next thing that the scripture or the text says is this. And then from the dust of the field, God created every beast. God created every beast from the dust of the field, from the dirt of the field. He created the fowl of the air. He created the thing, every beast of the field is what he created. Wait a minute. You just got through saying he needs a woman. It's not good for him to be alone. Why would you give him a job, a responsibility? Because if he gonna keep the woman that I bring in, he gonna need to know and understand the value of work. Now, the King James Version does not call it work. It calls it till. That God, listen, understand this, that Eden was more than just a garden. Eden was bigger than a garden. It was just in the Garden of Eden. In the Garden of Eden. It didn't say that all of Eden was the garden. It's the Garden of Eden. So Eden is the place, but within that place, God planted a garden and he put a man inside that garden to work it, or the King James Version says to till it. Another version says to dress it. Okay, but the word dress there and the word till there, if you click on them in Hebrew and Aramaic, it comes back to one word, which is work. Now, work not only means to labor, but work also means to become. I'm helping, I'm teaching. The word work there, it not only means to labor, it not only means to do, but it also means to become. So God put him in a place, not just to do something, but to become something. I must become something of him that sent me to become something while it is day. Because when I die and the night cometh, I don't become nothing. Let me translate that. I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. For when the night cometh, no man shall work. I should become what he who sent me to become while it is day. I should become what he who sent me to become while it is day. Because when the night cometh, I don't become anything. Okay. All right. The word work in the book of Genesis, it also means to become. It also means to reveal. God put him in the garden to reveal. Reveal what? That's the question. To reveal what? To reveal everything that I put in you. God said it's not good for man to be alone. And the next thing that God did was create the beast of the field. Not only did he create the beasts of the field, but he brought every beast of the field and fowl of the air and everything that creepeth and crawleth upon the earth. He brought it to Adam for Adam to name it. And whatever Adam named it, that its name was, it was then and it is today. Before he gave him a woman, he gave him work. The word work there means to become. It also means to do. It also means to labor. And it also means to reveal. What in the world did Adam reveal? He revealed all that was in him when God breathed into him and he became a living soul. Well, what was in him when God breathed into him and he became a living soul? Intellect, vision, creativity, imagination. God brought all the animals to Adam to name, but he didn't tell Adam what to name them. It's already in you to look at it and know the name. Come on. It's in you to look at a giraffe and call it a giraffe. It's in you to look at a horse and don't call it a goat. It's in you to call a horse, and a goat, and a cow, and a bull, and a frog. You could have called a frog a locust and called a locust a bee and called a bee a stingray, but you didn't. You called a bee, a locust, a cricket, a grasshopper, a stick bug. You call a wasp. You call a yellow jacket. You named every single thing. You named the bears. You named the tigers, the lions, the panthers, the cheetahs, the bobcats, and the mountain lions. You could have named the mountain lion a cheetah, but you didn't. You didn't even call a cheetah a leopard, and the leopard almost looks like a cheetah, but you was able to look at him, and it was in you to know the difference, that this one right here is going to be a cheetah, and this one right here is going to be a leopard. It was already number sayings that God told him what the name of it was already given to name him. So what I challenge you to understand is that what you're looking for is not on the outside of you. What you're looking for is already in you. When God, okay, listen, what's understanding your value and knowing your value means this, that you have to know that God has put something in me that I have to work. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right. 7 minutes. Okay. God put Adam in the garden to reveal what was in it. God put Adam in the garden to become. What's in your, why are you in your garden? In the garage, Bill Gates became a billionaire. He built it, Serena. It hadn't sold, but in building it, he became a billionaire. He wouldn't actually become the billionaire until years later. But in building what was in it, he became it without becoming it yet. He became it even manifested yet. What was in it had manifested. But the value of what was in it, the world didn't know it. He's the only one that knew it. What do you do in your garage? While you sit in your garage, now understand, if you live in an apartment, you say, Pastor, I don't have a garage. I'm not talking about a physical garage. I'm talking about what do you do in your space? What are you becoming in your life? If I were Dr. Martin Luther King, I would tell you this, because this is what he told a group of young people. Every man's life should have a blueprint. Dr. Martin Luther King then further explained to that group that before any building becomes erect, an architect has to first lay out and write out a blueprint so that the workers who never touched, who never had any, who were not instrumental in putting anything on the blueprint, so the workers would have a guide to build from. Our life has a blueprint. What do you do in your garage? What are you revealing? What are you becoming in your space that you call this life? Or are you waiting for somebody else to validate you? Or are you waiting for someone else to tell you that your idea for a non-for-profit is good? Or are you waiting for somebody else to tell you that your work ethic is good? Or are you waiting for somebody else to tell you that you are anointed, that you are powerful, that you are a preacher, that you are a minister, that you are a book writer, that you are you waiting on somebody else to tell you? My question is, what are you becoming in your own space? That garage didn't belong to anybody except for Bill Gates. And in that space, in that lonely space, in that dry space, in that place with no air conditioning, no AC, in that place, in that crazy place, what was in it came out of him, and he didn't know, the world didn't know that when what was in it came out of him, that it will make him a billionaire. He just knew it's in me to do. I don't need an audience. I don't need a crowd. I don't need a financial backer. I don't need a validation. I don't need affirmation. It's in me. All I need is a garage. And that's what you need to be telling yourself. God, I know this is what you need to be telling not only yourself, but telling your enemy. I know how I was raised. I know that I'm the product of a rape or a molestation. I know that neither of my parents were expecting me. That they didn't go to Planned Parenthood. This was not a planned pregnancy. I just kind of showed up after a night of some great music and some good wine or whatever it may be. But however I got here, I know that there's something in me that I have to become. There's something in me that has to be revealed. Listen. If you are a man and you do not understand your gift and your value, you have no right to invite a woman into your life. You have no right. I'm not telling you to get divorced. I'm telling you, if you're a single man and you do not understand and or know your gift and your value, you have no right to invite a woman into your life on any level, not a friendship level, not a relationship level. You have no right to do it. Now you may say, you've been a little hard on us, Pastor. I am. Here's why you have no right to do it. The reason why you have no right to do it is because you do her a disservice by not knowing your value. You do her a disservice by not knowing your gift. It's in you, but can't nobody experience it. You're the bird that's barking like a dog. You're the dog that's meowing like a cat. That's not who you are. When we look at these YouTube videos and we see these people that be on a piano and they sing something and then the dog sings something, it's funny. But the reason why the dog don't sound good, the dog just sound funny, is because it ain't in you to sing like a human. It's only in you to bark like a dog. It's a funny video. We're like, oh man, that's cute, that's funny. Look at this dog trying to sing. They'll never be able to accomplish it. They only try. Well, they're singing in their own way. Dogs were never designed to sing. They were designed to howl and to bark. That's it. Okay, that's it. So it's always funny when they trying to be what they haven't been designed to be. It's always funny when they trying to be what ain't in them to be. And it then becomes funny when you as men, us as men, try to bark like a dog when we are truly a bird. I'm not Sidney Poitier, but I know why the caged bird sings. The reason why the caged bird sings is because it's still a bird even in a cage. You can cage me, but I'm still going to sing. Why? Because I'm still a bird. I work on this job for the man, for the whomever man, the white man, the brown man, the Chinese man, the Arabian man. It feel like a cage. You still a bird. Go ahead on and fly and go ahead on and sing. I don't know if you've ever seen a bird in the cage, but a bird in the cage, they don't walk from side to side. They fly from side to side. Even in the cage, they still a bird. Come on now. Even in the cage, they still a bird. Even in the cage, they are still a bird. And as long as all I need is just a little room to flap my wings and I'll still move around. You can cage me, you can house me, you can limit my freedom, but you can't limit who and what I am. I whistle and sing in this cage because I am a bird. I fly in this cage because I am a bird. I used to fly out in the wide open. I can no longer do that. I have certain stipulations and limitations in regards to my surroundings, but they cannot change my gift. I am a bird and I'm going to be a bird. You can put a fish in a tank and it's going to swim. It's not just going to stand there because it's no longer in open water. It's in the fish tank water inside of your house. It's still going to swim. Why? Because it is a fish. I cannot limit who I am and what I am to what I'm surrounded by. God says it's in you to be it, but then be it. You would do a woman a disservice. Not knowing your value, not knowing your gift is why you can get one, you just can't keep one. A woman, according to Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, she was given to man to be a suitable helpmeet. She was given to man to help him become. She was presented to man to help him reveal. It excites a woman when a man knows his purpose and knows his value. It excites a woman when a man is working on becoming what's in it and revealing what's in it. It then becomes exciting for her. For any woman, it becomes exciting. And she then falls in love or begins to love the revelation or the becoming. Absolutely. But when you don't become, when you can't reveal, you do her a disservice. You do her an injustice, which means you have no right to date one. You have no right to try and holler at one. You have no right to buy one a drink and to get to know one. You have no right to buy one some Starbucks or a cup of coffee. You have no right to go to dinner. You have no right to go to lunch. You have no right to sit on the tailgate of a truck dinner from French's with a woman. You have no right. You should shut up, leave women alone, go discover your purpose. Go and not even discover your purpose. Go discover your gift and understand your value and then approach one. If you're married and you did not do that, don't get divorced, but you need to go to God. I'm sorry. You need to go to God and tell the Lord, I need to know the gift that I am, the value that I am, so that my wife can be excited about her role in the position that you put her in my life. The reason why you put her in my life and me in her life. But when you don't become nothing, she ain't got nothing to do. Her role is to help you become, help you reveal. Okay. And the more you become, the more she becomes. Nobody would know who Michelle Obama is if it were not for Barack. I am not being chauvinistic. It's just the truth. She is a powerful woman, a well-voiced, a well-spoken, well-dressed, poised woman that this country, black or white, admires. We know who she is because of her husband. He became president not because of votes. Let's be clear. He became president because he has a wife that said, I don't care if you are African American and you shouldn't either run for president. Okay. He didn't become president when it was announced, when he was on the stage in Chicago. That's not when he became president. He became president when he discovered it's in me to be president. People have asked the question, and I'm done. People have asked the question, we'll continue on Wednesday. How in the world did Donald Trump become president? Because he knew it was in him to be president. No political background. Wasn't a senator, wasn't a governor, wasn't a city councilman. He wasn't even an alderman. He wasn't. He didn't sit on the school board. He wasn't even part of the neighborhood watch program. He wasn't. Nothing. No background in politics. Zero background in business. But it's in me to be president. I can do this. Donald, you tripping. You done, man, listen, you done slept with porn stars. You done grabbed on women in places you done did interviews. Dude, do you know your history? You know your background? You know how much stuff about you is going to come out? I don't care what comes out. I can't ignore the fact that it's in me to be president. My God. That's something that we can, okay, listen, here's what he said. If you don't think that he knew the interviews that he had, if you don't think that he didn't know the dirt that was going to come out, if you don't think he didn't know the accusation, I know every accusation, all the dirt, everything that's going to come out. I know that somebody's going to raise up in my past that I ran the streets with in South Park, in 5th Ward, in 3rd Ward, in Sunnyside, in Hyde Park. I know somebody's going to have something to say. They wouldn't say nothing if I wasn't trying to be the greatness that's in me, but the fact that I am trying to become the great, that I'm going to become the greatness that's in me, it's going to be people who I thought that we pinky swore we ain't going to ever talk about this again. If we smoked it, we smoked spoke it. If we did it, we did it. If we said it, we said it. And we ain't gonna ever talk about this again. We ain't gonna even share this information with our other homeboy that both you and I trust. If you don't think that he knew that every ounce of dirt and speck of dust was gonna come out and come up, he knew it. But when it's in you to become, how do I shut off what's in me to become just because I have a checkered and a nasty past? I smoked crack one time and I did it with 2 people. And I know that if I ever run for president, those 2 people gonna show up and say why I shouldn't be president, because we smoked crack together one time. Donald Trump said this: I know and I don't care about my past. I only care about the gift that's in me, the value that's in me, and I will become president. And he did. And we can't stand him for it. But what we should admire him for is seeing and knowing what's in it. He did what God created him to do, whether we like it or not. And people say he's the devil. He's not the devil. God, okay, he followed the order of God. Oh, don't log off. No. Don't log off now, because the truth is just the truth. He followed the order of God. I know I am, but it's still the truth. My opinions about his morals are just my opinions, but the man followed the order of God. And when it came to his checkered past, he wouldn't talk about it. Did you kiss this? Did you grab this woman? Did you say this? I'm tweeting about something else. Next. Did you give this interview? He started tweeting about something else. What did he show us? It's gonna come up. Change the station. Talk about something else. Because if I talk about it, they're gonna be able to pull me back into it. You don't understand. I'm too focused on the greatness that's in me to get pulled into anything that I've done, whether it was right or wrong. He set a great example of how to see your value and your gift and your greatness and then become it. And the world don't want to hear that, especially colored people in the United States. We don't want to hear this. Black people, we don't want to hear this message. We anti-Trump. Why are you anti-Trump when Trump followed the order of God and ended up where he was supposed to end up? You didn't say anything when Barack did it. And he had it worse than Trump. He did have a political background, but he also had a skin color. His odds were stacked against it a little more heavy than even Donald J. Trump. Barack didn't have the checkered background and past that Trump had. But it didn't mean that his obstacles were smaller. They was just as big because of his color. And it was his suitable helpmeet. While their head was on a pillow, under a comforter that you would never see, pillow talking, saying, baby, you can become it. Baby, I believe it's in you. Baby, don't let your skin tone hold you back. Baby, listen, you gonna be. I believe that, I'm not certain of it, but I believe that Michelle started calling him Mr. President long before he even said, I'm gonna run for president. She just started calling him. I can imagine her calling him Mr. President, Mr. President. Now I need you to start to get used to hearing what's in you. But he believed that he could become. He had a woman that got excited because he's believing that he can become something, and she got excited and she started pushing. She didn't run for vice president. She didn't run for senator. She didn't run for governor. She didn't run for congressman. She just said, I'm here to push him. And in pushing him, her name has become just as great as his. You think it's a man need to pull you up at the same time, and it's chauvinistic for a man to try to be ahead of you, that God created both men and women equal. He did not create us equal. He created man, but he created you for man. And I'm not pushing a man to do nothing. That's right. You shouldn't have to push a man to do nothing, because if there's nothing to be excited about, there's nothing to push. A man should push himself, and you should push his push. A man should be becoming himself, and you should be revealing what he can become. Okay. Work the work. A man has been created to work. So work the work. That's what you were created for, to work the work. And what happens? Barak lifted up his wife on every platform, every stage that he ever stood on. Pictures, photo ops, she's right there. His family is right there. Michelle Obama's name is just as synonymous as Barack Obama. He has a cologne and she has a perfume. When she speaks, people listen. They don't say, oh, that's Barack's wife. Oh, no. This is Michelle Obama, his first lady. He's not even the president anymore, but she still will always be regarded as America's first lady. Come on, man. Okay. She understood her value because he understood his value. And she knew what she would become. Now, of course, she has degrees. She had degrees and intelligence before he became president. She wasn't just some housewife that he went, no. They were in college together. Yeah, absolutely. Helping push him and helping him to become did not devalue her. It did not diminish her. As a matter of fact, it increased her value. That's why sometimes in most churches, the youth pastor is the second most valuable person, because he has to pastor another area of the ministry and push a vision that ain't his successfully. He's the only other person in the church that has to pastor and preach to another part of the church, while the senior pastor is pastoring and preaching to this part of the church, and he has to push a vision that was not given to him. And he has to see value in the vision and see the value in the vision of the one who was given the vision and push that vision like God gave it to him. That's what a good youth pastor is supposed to do. I don't know what the bad ones do. I wasn't a bad one. But that's what a good one is supposed to do. I understood it did not devalue me to push Gary Scott's vision for Trinity Fellowship Church. It didn't devalue me. Not at all. As a matter of fact, it increased my value. So when I had an opportunity to come back and be the pastor of Impact Kingdom Center, I was welcomed with open arms. Not because they knew me from now, but because they knew me from then. Oh my God. I ain't the pastor here now because I came and sat and served for a year with Bishop until the Lord gave him another assignment in Florida. I'm the pastor here right now is because I pushed his vision for 6 years like it was mine when it wasn't mine. It was his. And I pushed it with my whole heart, just like God gave it to me. And it increased my value in the eyes of Trinity or / IKC, who's still here. I increased my value by pushing his vision. I didn't need God to give me a vision for the area youth ministry. I needed my pastor to give me a vision for the area youth ministry. And when he gave it, that's what I pushed. It wasn't nothing for me to pray about. I just needed to listen to. I needed to pray about how to push this vision, but I didn't need to pray about what the vision was. My bishop told me what the vision was, and I prayed about how to push that vision, and I did. It increased my value. I had no idea I would be the senior pastor. But it's why the church wasn't torn up. And 60% of the people didn't leave. 10% of the people left. But the other 90% of IKC stayed. It wasn't because I created value in a year. It's because I created value 15 years ago. And that value lasts. It stayed. I didn't make an impression. I made an impact. I wasn't promoting myself. I was pushing another man's vision. Right. But it didn't deplete me of my worth and my value to push my bishop's vision. I still knew who I was. I still knew why I was. And I still knew the gift that I am. What did that gift do? It made room. I'm not the pastor because I'm talented. Talent don't make room. I'm the pastor because I believe that I'm a gift to impact and to the body. And the text says that your gift will make room. Your gift will make room. Not your job, your gift. So everybody that's listening, I'm 19 minutes over, everybody that's listening to this broadcast, here's what you need to question. You need to question, you need to question yourself. What gift am I? How do I make myself valuable to the point that I'm unfireable? What am I doing? Last question. What am I doing in my garage? Not my physical garage, but what am I doing in my space? This space that I call my life to become or to reveal. Am I Bill Gates? Or am I turning my garage into a man cave that I can just chill in? Do I just want a little AC, a couch and a 50-inch so I can watch the game in peace and in private? Or am I using this space to release everything that's in me, that's going to make room for me and bring me before great presidents go knock on Bill Gates' door? He gets calls from the White House. He gets calls from these people. He gets calls from other countries, from kings. He ain't calling nobody. They calling him. It's making room for him. In Alfonso Emerson in 1870 something said, he was giving a lecture and he said, if a man builds a mousetrap that is the best mousetrap ever to have been invented, even if he build a home in the thicket of the woods, the world will create a beaten path to his front door. They'll come and find, come on, they'll come and find you because they're not just looking for you, they're looking for value. They're not just looking for you, they're looking for gift. It's why God said, come on and play, Paul, because I ain't gonna stop. It's why God says, the earth, it's why the Bible says that the earth is earnestly waiting with expectations for the sons of God to reveal themselves. I know you've heard that preached what this means today. The earth, the world is waiting with an earnest, this is what the text says, with earnest expectations for the sons of God to reveal themselves. What is the earth waiting on, Booker? It's waiting on Booker's value. It's waiting on the gift of Terrain Booker. What is the earth waiting on, Leanne? It's waiting on you to reveal and become your value and become your gift. What is the world waiting on, Paul? It's waiting on you to become your value and become your gift. And it is expecting to see nothing less. It's waiting. The Bible says that it's waiting. It's waiting. The Bible says that it's waiting. It's waiting. The Bible says that it's waiting. If you are experiencing troubles in your marriage, here's what I encourage you to do. Become your gift and become your value, because your spouse is waiting on it. They sick of calling you a nothing and a no good, such and such and such and such. Let your value, let your gifts come to the table, come to fruition, manifest itself, and I guarantee you, you won't hear that anymore, but they're waiting on you to become. They're waiting on you to work. When a fish swims, God calls that work. When a bird flies, God calls that work. When a butterfly flaps his wing, God calls that work. When a cheetah runs, God calls that work. Why does God call it work? God calls it work because that's what they've been created and designed to do and to be. Anytime you do and become what God has designed and created you to be, God calls it work. It's why I must work the work of Him that sent me. He sent me here to become. He sent me here to reveal. Listen, 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 listen. Keep playing. Listen, listen, Linda, listen, 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 listen carefully. It's a reason why the text says, let the people praise thee, O Lord. Let all the people praise thee. First of all, you've been created and designed to praise Him. Nobody, Darnell, needs to give you a praise. It's already a praise on the inside of you. Moss, the singer, would say, there's a praise on the inside that I can't keep to myself. As I holler, stirring up, there is a praise on the inside of you because God created that praise to be on the inside of you. Isaiah 43:7 would say it like this, that we have been created to praise and to worship God. The Bible will say it like this, since you've been created to praise, and if you don't do what you've been created and designed to do, I'll let the rocks cry out in your place. I'm going to be praised because so now the text says, let the people praise thee, O Lord, let all the people praise thee. Here's what the text says without saying. So here's what it's saying, but it doesn't say it. Let the people do what they've been designed to do. Let the people be what they've been designed to be, O Lord. Let all the people do it. The text says this, it reads like this. Let the people praise thee, O Lord. Let all the people praise thee. When the psalm says, let the people praise thee, O Lord, let all the people praise thee, what the psalm is actually saying is this, let the people do what they've been designed to do, and let all the people do it. Well, what happens when all the people do what the people have been designed to do? The very next verse tells you, then shall the earth yield her increase. God, even our own God shall bless us. God shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear Him. Listen, Darnell, here's what I'm trying to tell you. The earth is always waiting to yield an increase. It's just waiting on the people to be what God has designed it to be and to do what God has designed it to do. The earth has been designed to give an increase, to yield an increase to those who become and those who reveal. Okay? You should have your hand on your chest right now and say, I got to become. If my boyfriend don't see it, I gotta become. If my mama don't see it, I gotta become. If my current pastor and if my last pastor don't see it, I still have to become. If my brother don't see it, I still have to become. If my school teachers didn't see it, and my great grandmother that I know that love me don't see it, if my children don't see it, I still have to become. I've been designed to become. I've been designed to be this gift. I've been created with a gift on the inside inside of me and to know the value of the gift that's in me, and I have to become it. I gotta do a DJ Khaled, I gotta put that work in. I gotta do another one, David. Do another one, David. Do another circle, David. Do another circle. I gotta get this work done. I gotta put in this work. And if I was in the trap house, they would say, "Hey, do you have that work done?" I don't have any work, but I am that work. If I stood on the corner, they would be approaching me trying to see. They wouldn't ask me for drugs. They would ask me for work. Not Home Depot, Hispanic male waiting to work. That's a different kind of work. If I was standing on the corner, they would ask me, "Do you got that work?" I don't have that work, but I am that work. I don't have what you're looking for, but I am what you're looking for. I am the revelation. I am great. I am valuable, and I'm already on the spiritual high. There's gonna be any high that any of the work that you thought I am will actually do for you. I don't have that work. I am that work, and being that work, that's why I gotta work the work of Him that sent me while it is day. I gotta come and be revealed as God predetermined for me to become and to be revealed while I'm still alive. Because when I die, I can no longer do it. You the work. You the work. God put Adam in the garden to become and to reveal. Not only just to labor and to do, but also to become and to reveal. The earth is waiting to yield an increase to you. You're trying to figure out why you're in a season of lack. The reason why you're in a season of lack, it ain't because it's a drought, baby. Now, this may be prophetic for some of you. The reason why you're in a season of lack is not because there's a drought, it's because you're not becoming. You're not revealing and you're not being what you've been designed to be. The earth, the text says, will yield an increase. It's stuff that's waiting on you. The wealth of the wicked is laid up or stored up for the just. The just shall live by faith. Come on, we connected all dots. The wealth of the wicked is stored up and laid up for the just. The just shall live by faith. Faith coming by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It takes faith in God to become when all odds are stacked against you. It takes faith in God to become what's in you to become when everything on the outside suggests you will never become it. Which means what? Which means you can still get a master's degree even if you've been to prison. You can still be a drug counselor even if you were strung out. You can still be a marriage counselor even if you've been divorced 4 times. My history and my past does not limit what's in me. If you ever read the book of, I'll get into it at some point, but if you ever read the book of Ecclesiastes, in the English, the word Ecclesiastes, it means the word of the preacher, but it comes from the Latin word, ecclesia. It comes from the Latin word ecclesia, and in the church we like to use ecclesiastical or the ecclesia to be something big. And to be something super spiritual. It ain't super spiritual. The Latin word ecclesia simply means assembly or gathering of people. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, it starts out by saying the word of the preacher. It doesn't say who that preacher is. But Ecclesiastes is stuck right in between Proverbs and Songs of Solomon. Ecclesiastes was actually written by Solomon. It is the saddest sermon I've ever read, but the most informative sermon that I've ever read. It's sad, it's depressing, but it is so helpful and informative. And you may ask, how can something be so depressing and informative? Go read it. Go read it for yourself. All 10 chapters of it. I did it in one day. It is amazingly informative and it is sad and depressing at the same time. so much wisdom because God just gave it to him. He had the wisdom that he had because of his experiences. Read Ecclesiastes. Every bad thing under the sun that you can think of, he probably did. Or at least he said he did. I pray that today was informative. I pray that today was life-changing. We're going to continue in this, knowing your value, knowing your worth, knowing your value. We're going to continue this on Wednesday. This is not the message and or series that I intended to teach, but this is the one that God intended for me to teach. I had something different in mind, but this is what he had in mind, and of course he wins. There's no winning because there's no fighting. Of course, he reigns supreme. You have to know your value. You have to know the gift that you are. You are going to keep having failed marriages and failed relationships, failed business opportunities, failed ministry opportunities, failed friendships. You're going to keep failing until you do. The world is waiting on you, Paul. The world is waiting on you, Eric. The world is waiting on you, Chad. The world is waiting on you, Serena. It's waiting on you to become and to be revealed. There's a remnant of people that's just sitting around waiting on you to become and to be revealed. It's why, Leanne, you have to walk in your office and walk in your gift with no shame and with no apologies. No shame, and this is to you directly. No shame and no apologies does not make you arrogant. It doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you assured that this is the gift that God has called and presented me to be, not only to IKC, but to the body of Christ. You are not just a prophet for IKC. You're not just an intercessor for IKC. You're a prophet, you're an intercessor for the body. I'm glad that you're housed here, but I know that you're not limited to here. And you walk in that, and you be that, with no apologies to anybody. None. When they call you weird, don't apologize. You should never apologize for somebody else's perception of you. You are who you are. You are what you are. And you why you are because of God. Walk in it. Serena, walk in it. Leanne, walk in it. Paul, it's time to walk in it. Eric, it's time to walk in it. And follow the lead of Donald J. Trump, who did not apologize for his past. Too focused on what's in me coming out of me. I'm not apologizing for my past. Even if you know it. He never said they were wrong about it. He just didn't say anything about it. And I ain't apologizing for it. Because apologizing means I gotta stop. I'm not stopping, I'm moving forward. Don't apologize for who you were. Your future is not ahead of you. Your future is in you. Your future is not outside of you. Your future is in you right now, currently. Your future is in you. 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 You just have to become. You have to work. You have to labor. Overseer Perez preached this morning about Elisha and Elijah, and how Elisha was plowing the field with 12 yoke of oxen, and Elisha came through and threw his mantle on him. And Elisha said, let me go kiss my mom and my daddy goodbye. And Elisha said, man, go back and heal and make sure. Because what you're asking for, you don't really know that you're ready for, but Elisha knew that he was ready for it because he knew what was in it. He knew I'm going to be faithful in plowing, but this is not what I am. But I'm going to keep doing this until what I am finds me. And she eloquently preached and said, sometime the anointing will find you. And through this message this morning, I'm praying that the anointing has found you. That the revelation and the discovery of you has found you. I don't do this for play or fun. I do this for victory's won. It's the only reason why I preach. For victory. Not for play. Not for fun. I do this for victory. You should listen for play. You should listen for fun. You should listen, receive, and absorb for victory. If I do it for victory, well, then receive what I do it for. Victory over what, Pastor? Victory over you. Victory over you. I told you on Wednesday night, nobody can sabotage your success like you can. And sometimes the blessing of who you are is right on the other side of you. Jesus. I've learned in my personal life that the blessing of who I really am was on the other side of my pride. I needed to swallow it. Because I can get prideful. Prideful in the sense of stubbornness. I needed to get past my own stubbornness so I can really experience the blessing of who I really am. And I encourage you to do the same. God, thank you for this word. Thank you for what you taught. God, thank you for what you spoke. I'm 40 minutes over. But God, I thank you that I'm on your time and not my time. I needed this. I needed to get this out. I needed to hear this again as I say it. And God, we all need to apply this to our lives. God, we trust you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, in the gallery, Terrence Mitchell, those of you that are logged into YouTube, I see your comments. Terrence says, speak, Lord, speak, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord. Listen, guys. It's sowing time. It's sowing time. I want you to return your tithe. We don't pay tithe. I want you to return your tithe. I want you to go to www.ikc.org and return your tithe there. I want you to sow an offering and give a love gift if you choose to. But I want you to sow. This message today was powerful enough for you to sow into. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to return your tithe, of course, but I want you to sow a seed above and beyond what you were going to sow into the message. So if this was a message to you, well then sow into it. If it wasn't, don't sow into it. It's simple for me. Don't sow into it. But if it was a message for you, sow into it. If you believe that God uses me to speak to you after no personal and private conversation with you, if you believe that God uses me to speak to you on a weekly basis and sow his message into you, you have an opportunity to sow a gift of love into me. If you believe in the gift and the anointing that God has given you, not only do you have an opportunity, you have a responsibility to sow into me. Now, if you cannot do that with a loving heart, I encourage you not to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because it's not going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit you. Today's message was what I needed. It was what I needed. Bishop York instilled a lot in me. He poured a lot into me. And Friday, what I did was this. I cried all day. But when I'm broken, I get in my word. So that's what I did. I got in my word. And in getting in my word, I realized that he left something I kept saying, when I talked to Michael, I said, man, I still need him. We wasn't finished yet. Bishop York, we had some plans. This man had some vision. I didn't realize he left the vision with Michael. He left the vision with me. He left plans with other ministers, other preachers. But he left it with me. I didn't look at him as just a bishop. I looked at him as a father figure. I loved him like he was my dad. And he has transitioned. But what he put in me, I need to become and reveal. So, and it was nothing but the word that helped me do that. And I needed this message today. So you have an opportunity to give. Go to www.ikc.org. Give and return your tithe, sow a love gift if you choose to. You can even sow it to youth ministry and any other area of the ministry that you choose to give. My personal cash app is $ next to Utley cash app. However you want to do it is totally fine with me. I thank you guys for being obedient. I thank you guys for being faithful. I thank you for hanging in there with me in the midst of this pandemic. Stay safe, keep your hands washed, get you some hand sanitizer, please wear your mask, be as safe as you possibly can. But in the middle of all of that, it's time to become. It's time to be revealed. It's time to become. It's time to be the gift. It's time to be the work. Not have that work, but be the work. We have jobs, but God didn't create us to have jobs. God created us to work. And it become the work. And sometimes your job is just a part of the process of you becoming your work. People don't say, hey, I'm going to always remember their life's job. No, they say we're going to always remember their life's work. Okay, defined by their life's work, not their life's job. So they worked on the railroad for 50 years. They didn't change nothing about it. But Abraham Lincoln was president for not even 2 terms, 1 term, and changed. Come on now. Changed 1865. Emancipation Proclamation. He changed everything for black people. And the same year that he changed everything with the Emancipation Proclamation was the same year that the KKK was birthed. See, whenever there's something great, there's something evil to try to be counterproductive to what was great. So I'm telling you what to expect as you become, as you be revealed, as you be the gift, as you be the work, as you work the work of Him that has sent you, as you become. I need you to know there's going to be something that's going to try to cause you to be counterproductive and to work against you. When it shows up, I want you to be assured you're headed in the right direction. You're on the right path. If you are becoming what God has designed you to become, and you are not met and faced with opposition and or resistance, I have news for you. You are not becoming anything. It's when you are met with opposition and resistance from somewhere, that's when you know I must be on the right track. Because what nothing bothered me until I decided to become, now that I'm being revealed, now people are talking about me. Now things are working against me. And it doesn't matter that things work against you, because the text says I can use the things that work against you and make them work for you. All things work together. I can make it work together. I can make 2 things that work against you work together with each other for your good. You never heard the term a double negative? Yes, sir. What is it? It's a positive, right? Every day, God will make a way out of the way. I'll expect a miracle. Yes, sir. Every day, God will make a way out of the way. I'll expect a miracle. Every day, God will make a way out of the way. I'll expect a miracle. Every day, God will make a way out of no way. I expect a miracle. Every day, God will make a way out of no way. If you believe and receive, God will perform it today. If you believe and receive it. God will perform it today. You know, I knew this song. If you believe and receive it, God will perform it today. You better live like you expected a miracle, baby. Even if it's the miracle of yourself, you better expect a miracle every day. I expect the miracle of me every day. Leanne, if 70% of Houston's population had to live through what you have lived through and survive what you have survived, they would probably choose that I'd rather not live, I'd rather just die and go over and be. So every day that you wake up, you are a miracle. Serena, if 89% of the population of Houston experience what you experience with your eyesight after being able to see clearly and then your eyesight deteriorating, they more than likely they would have decided, Lord, just take me on home and take me out of here. But if you decided, I don't care whether I can see or not, I can still see myself as a miracle. I may not be able to see the chair in front of me, but I can see myself healed. I can see myself delivered. I can see myself in the hands of God. I can see myself being great. I can see myself being prosperous. I can see myself still being a gift. I don't need two eyes to see myself being a gift. And because you wouldn't stop seeing yourself how other people were seeing you, you saw yourself totally different. God says, let me just give her back. This was nothing but opposition that was working against her becoming great. So I'm going to give it back to her. The devil didn't steal it. It was just resistance. It was just necessary for the process to take place. Now she's greater than what she's been. She's sitting here today, and I don't know if you paid attention to her, but she walked in by herself, put a purse in the chair by herself, came to the altar by herself. 6 months ago, she needed help doing all of that, but today she did it by herself. I don't know if you follow her on Facebook, but I do. And she sit up, cranked up the car, drove the car, put her seatbelt on, went down the street, came back safe, all by herself. 6 months ago, somebody else had to do that for her. Don't tell me what the Lord can't do. That's why I expect a miracle every day, and I know that God will make a way out of no way. And if I just believe and receive it, then God will perform it. Not tomorrow. He'll perform it today. He'll perform it today. Yes, sir, today. He'll perform it today. And when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to say today. And when I wake up Tuesday, I'm going to say today. And when I wake up Wednesday, I'm going to say today. And when I get up Thursday, I'm going to say today. And if I die Friday, I want you to remember Thursday, he said today. And if he was alive today, he'd say today again. God will perform it. He'll do it today. I expect it today. If you believe in the seed, then God will perform it today. I love you. Remember, we are not only God strong, but we are IKC strong. May the grace and may the peace of God be with you. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.